Brothers is celebrating their centennial anniversary this year. And TCM has become sort of the center for that celebration. And I just want to know, Paula, how did that all come about? And generally speaking, what do you think in the long run, what do you think TCM's legacy is going to be about? I mean, this is the theme of this year, celebrating legacies. What is TCM's legacy going to be?
Those are good trick questions somehow. First of all, hey everybody, this is the coolest thing. What a great way to start. Oh, hi. First of all, as far as how we got here and celebrating this anniversary, we have calendars. So we started thinking ahead about this 100th anniversary of our studio and felt like we really, more than any part of the company, could really blow it out.
Of course they
And
could.
amongst all the platforms that we control and program, it felt like a key opportunity for us to frankly show off, right?
Yeah.
Show our company the muscle we have and the ways in which we can communicate enthusiasm and authority and incredible flexibility around this library of the studio. So we initially said, let's figure out the ways that we can build and layer this on. And certainly the festival felt like a key one. And once we knew that that was a good hook for us, like Charlie and I started talking about maybe partnering with the Film Foundation to work with us to cultivate a list of titles that were deserving of restoration or serious repair. And that was, you know, a year-long project. I mean, that was well worth the effort, but it took, you know, really a lot of buy-in, both from our company, as far as working with those titles and working with the Film Foundation and specifically Martin Scorsese to say which are the titles that make sense for us to celebrate and make sure that they're accessible for viewing both on TCM or in theaters or wherever else you might access these films. So that was a big sort of tentpole of what we wanted to do. And frankly, it was right as our company was sort of evolving into a new structure. So we kind of did it blindly, I think, not knowing how the larger company would feel about it in its new shape. But obviously, they're thrilled. So we're really glad with that. And what Charlie has done as far as, and his team, as far as threading it through the network, is just so genius. And here we are, day 13 of it. I hope nobody's tired of Warner Brothers yet. But he can talk about more of that later. But as far as the legacy question, I think that demonstrates what we can do. Namely, we want to be, you know, kind of a point of access for everyone who cares about movies, who cares about keeping these classics alive and available, you know, whether it's the Film Foundation or others, and all the people that Charlie works with across studios to make sure that there is a place to see them, because you can take care of them, you can restore them. If no one's looking at them, it's, you know, a tree falling in a forest kind of thing. So that, I think, is our legacy, that in whatever we do, we're going to keep telling the story and bringing these movies to people wherever they are.
Very good. You know, part of that tells...
Great.
Absolutely. You know, part of that story being told is done through Dexter and his group. And Dexter, I wanted to know, you know, our new, I don't know if we call it a tagline, When Then Meets Now. How do you and your team, how do you make that urgency, how do you make it so creative and inviting, that whole aspect of When Then Meets Now? And what does it mean to you?
So it's been about 2 years since we rebranded the look of the network, which all of you have seen, and Where Then Meets Now gave us a chance over this time to take classic film and great classic film moments and introduce them to new audiences. The one audience I'm going to pick on is the hardest audience, and that's the TikTok audience, 16 to 22. I have things in my refrigerator older than that. So this is a tough audience, but if you hit that audience right, they share. And that sharing is what makes things what they call viral. So in an example of taking a classic movie moment, if we think about the film There's No Business Like Show Business, there's a dance number, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. And a couple sings about Marilyn Monroe, and they sing basically that she won't get up, she won't get out, she won't do nothing. And then they swing over to Marilyn, and Marilyn says, I'm just lazy. So the TikTok audience went crazy over that because Gen Z relates to that. No judgment there. We have to work a lot harder. So they shared that among themselves, which opened up a class of movie to people who, all of you, many of you know the movie, but this audience discovered it. And it became their funny thing, and they shared it. And I think at last count, Diana Bosch is in the room someplace, who runs our social, 7.3 million viewers.
Wow.
So that is how where then meets now and takes the legacy Paula just talked about and brings it to a new audience, because we have to introduce classic films to younger, diverse, different people who have an idea that classic films are lofty and that it's complicated and they might not like black and white. When in fact, in the right platform, the right place, and the secret sauce that the social team has, the position comes to life. So thank you.
And I understand that one of the things that your team put together was the video that we just watched here in Club TCM. It's that kind of work that really helps when Then Meets Now, much like the spot that's running in the month of April that has gotten a lot of great feedback from you guys, the montage that is, done by David Byrne over here. He's crouching with a half a camera. Talk about how that mission is communicated through these different spots that you guys produce.
We have two producers, David there and Christian Hampton. The two of them write a great deal of all the interstitials, the promos, the videos that you see in between programming on the network, and they take the positioning. And in the hardest way to do it, what David did up there, if you saw it, was without any music, without any words. But we all know that the lessons from classic film, and the wisdom, the funny moments, the sarcasm of women empowerment, which only today has become very popular, those things existed. And if you put them up against things that are more relevant for classic film, you can tell a story. And it's that storytelling that those two and everyone else at Brand Creative, which are all the creative people, the marketing people, the stories we tell on screens like that, as well as on platform, and social, and on linear, all of that is the storytelling that Where Then Meets Now comes to life.
Very good. So I do want to talk a little bit more about our air, but I first want to ask Genevieve about the festival. And there's so many things that go on behind the scenes, as I'm sure you guys probably realize. But there are a lot of things that we do that you may not know that we do. So Genevieve, can you talk a little bit about how we go the extra mile in bringing this festival to life?
Thank you, and hello everyone. It's so wonderful to see you all here.
Genevieve!
It's our 4-day party of film. It's great. So a couple of things I would say. I think for anyone who loves TCM, whether you work here or you're watching us or you just love the network, you know that the devil's in the details. We pay attention to every single bit of it because we want to get it right. And I think this event is no different from anything else that we do on TCM in that way. But in terms of running a 4-day event with well over 100 things happening at sometimes 6 different simultaneous venues, that's quite a feat to pull off when you think about communication, the hundreds of people that contribute, etc. And so preparation is definitely crucial. It's all the pre-production that we do is really why we have everything roll out the way that we hope it will. And for example, we have what we call a run of show for every single event, and there are many people contributing to what that run of show is, and that's literally minute by minute what happens when we come into the theater, what you see on the screen, the conversations that happen, who is presenting. We drill down into every single minute. We have an annual meeting we call the Q2Q meeting, CUE to CUE. And the Q2Q meeting is usually 6 to 7 straight hours of going through every single minute of every single event. And there are many people in that meeting. So that's just one of the many exhaustive things that we do to make sure that this plays out the way that we want it to and the way that you want it to. And we're thinking about every single minute of that. We also spend a lot of exhaustive time doing postmortems. I know a lot of you who've been before, you know that we do surveys. We really appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the feedback on the ground.
while we're here, we want to know what your experience was like, we want to know afterwards. And we look at all of that and we discuss it extensively, and we look at those notes as we go into the next year to try to improve what we do. So it's a very thorough process.
Indeed it is. So one of the things that is really important to the film festival, obviously, is the guests, the special guests that we have. For the red carpet this evening, we have two people. There's a Steven Spielberg and a Paul Thomas Anderson, and the person responsible for this is the new kid on the block, Missy. Missy, so what is, being the new person amongst the leadership, what has surprised you about TCM? Particularly when it comes to the other networks that you work for under Warner Brothers Discovery.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everybody. Yes, I am absolutely the new kid on the block. I said to everybody in the green room, I said, am I the freshman? And, being brought out to, and you guys are going to ask me all these questions, but this is an easy one, and I can tell you this. I've been in this business my whole life, since college. I worked at Fox for a long time, in Disney and Nat Geo, and then I came to Warner Brothers Discovery, and when I told my mother that I was going to work with the team here at TCM, she finally paid attention to me. And then they go, wait a minute, I love TCM, and all of a sudden, so I will say this, I have worked with a lot of people, I said this yesterday, a lot of talent, a lot of co-workers across the board at Warner Bros. Discovery. We have Food Network and HGTV and 14 different networks and Warner Brothers and Max and everything. This is the most down-to-earth, beautiful human beings, and I'm not, I'm just saying, so kind from the minute I walked in, and they have helped me every step of the way, and I really appreciate it. And I just, anything, and the Spielberg, I would love to say, oh yeah, I've got Steve in there, and Angie and PT and everybody, the 150 actors you're going to see over the next 4 days. I didn't. I have I have a small and mighty team that takes on a lot, and they work so hard, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. I will say that. You're going to be so surprised and so as am I. They have the schedule for me to go into movies because I didn't know a few things, and Charlie's like, oh, Missy, you have to see that movie. And Bo was like, you have to go see that movie. So I will be in the theater with you joining. I'm so excited. I took 4 days off my other job over at Warner Brothers, and I just said, don't bother me, I'm TCM all the time. I'm here if you need me.
Well, one of the things that all of you are used to seeing, particularly in prime time, is our hosts, all 5 of them being the face for TCM. And more, of course, we've seen them outside of the studio. And so, Ann, I want to ask you, how is it managing and coordinating these shoots that you often do, bringing the hosts outside of the studio and out into the open world?
Hi, everybody. Well, different is always good, right? And so when we are talking about a particular subject, it's always more compelling to have our host come from a place that fits that subject. So we filmed at National World War II Museum. We recently, if there are country music fans here, Marty Stewart came to our studio in his tour bus, and we said, hey, how fun would that be if we shot on his tour bus? So Alicia Malone sat with him. We've gone to CNN to shoot. We've gone to the College Football Hall of Fame. It's just, again, it's always fun to do something different and to bring our hosts a little closer to the subject matter that they're talking about.
And you've also have visited several filmmakers, done shoots in their offices.
Yes, that's true. So, yes, Steven Spielberg, people like that, they're very busy. They're working. And so if we want to work with them, we go to them. And so Missy was able to go, has to go to Steven Spielberg's office. It's a tough life, right?
That was a hard day.
And you even shot some segments yesterday here, right? For ready to air later on in the year.
We did. So we're very lucky. We've got a lot of great guests, as we were talking about. And so yesterday downstairs at the theater here, Richard Dreyfuss shot a double feature with us to be a future guest programmer. We shot with the beautiful Sherry Belafonte. Eddie talked to Anne Margaret, who's so lovely. Joie Lee sat with Jacqueline and did a night for Juneteenth programming. So yeah, really taking advantage of the great talent that we have here and advantage of our production dollars. Right, Julie Vuitton? Julie handles like everything, and she's always helping us out, putting our shoots together, so thank you, Julie.
And don't forget, I think there's one more. Did we shoot one more? Oh, no, we didn't. Oh.
That's a surprise. Shh. Moving on.
Thank you.
Charlie. Charlie, give us a taste of what's to come later this year on TCM.
Okay, I'll do my best. I actually anticipated the question, and I'm sure I'm going to forget a lot. But some of the stars that we've got that we're going to feature, as you know, we have a star of the month except for this month and last month. But some coming up next month is William Powell, who I know is a favorite. A couple other big names, Catherine Hepburn and Cary Grant are both later this year. Charles Heston's 100th birthday. We're going to be celebrating him later. Dirk Bogart. We're doing a celebration of 70s movie stars. I'm sure there's one or two more we got coming, but that's what comes to mind. And then in terms of some of the themes that we're going to do, next month we're celebrating James Wong Howe, the great cinematographer. We're taking a look at disability in film with our friend Lawrence Cardalong, who's here somewhere. The programming. We're going to look at ageism in Hollywood. We're going to do coming of age movies. We're going to do some version of martial arts movies, whether it's Bruce Lee or Golden Harvest or something along those lines. We're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Hollywood sign with programming that has Hollywood on Hollywood movies like Singing in the Rain and Stars Born, and also films on film, documentaries about films and filmmaking, both going out throughout the month. And then there's one more thing I'm going to mention, which I might not make it because every year we have on the schedule, and for different reasons we have to cut it, but I just want to get it out there. I've always wanted to do kid fans and have kids come on and host with Dan and kind of talk about some of their favorite classic movies. So, maybe we can get it. It's difficult production. There are legal issues and all that, so it doesn't always. It's tough, but I hope we can maybe make it work.
Well, thank you, Charlie. Thank you all. So that was just the appetizer. The main course are questions from you guys. So we are going to have, I believe,